Let's talk about the very rare 8-planet pileup in fiery risk-taking, let me out of the starting gate Aries, and what it means for you, my friend. Beginning April 12th, we are going to have a massive influx of Aries energy that we have not seen before in our lifetimes. This is fiery inner drive, momentum building, opening you up to a spark of new aliveness or a brand new adventure. Collectively, this Aries conglomerate further activates the 0 point of Aries, which signals more deep change and global reset, and activates even more the brand new era of Neptune and Aries. And most importantly for you, my friend, this is a potent time to actively use these Aries energies for inspiring fresh starts and brand new beginnings and any new direction that you are feeling guided by your soul to take. So in part 1 of this video, I want to support you to take full advantage of this inspired new direction, which could feel like spring finally springing. And I want to share tips with you for navigating these energies with the most ease and grace, because part of what's going to be going on is a very intense conjunction between Mars and Saturn. And this will not be an easy aspect. It could heighten any tension that's already existing within you, in your environment, and definitely on the global level. So I'm going to share with you who is most likely to feel this very intense Mars-Saturn conjunction and how you can come through it feeling victorious. And in part 2, as always, I will be doing your 12-sign readings and pulling an oracle card for each of the signs as well. So if you have just now found the channel, I want to warmly welcome you. I'm so glad that you are here. This is a like-minded community. It's always my intention to empower and inspire you through Western tropical astrology. And if you are on an ascension journey or spiritual path, or you just see yourself as highly sensitive, you are in the right place. Take a moment right now to tap that subscribe button and the notification bell so we stay connected and you don't miss a video. Welcome back to you lovely, loyal people who've been watching my videos, who have subscribed. And if you haven't yet subscribed, if you could take a moment right now to subscribe, it will make a huge difference. And if we're just meeting for the first time, I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer and intuitive life coach, and the author of The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is my passion and dedication to meet you on Zoom for live one-on-one astrology consultations. So if that intrigues you, stay tuned until the end of this video. I will tell you more about my offerings. And if you'd like to get my free gift, instant download, stay tuned till the end. I'll tell you what that is, how you can get it. And I write about the astrology between videos in my weekly inspirational astrology updates. So if you would like to receive those, you can go to my website, subscribe for free, and you'll get my free instant download gift at the same time. Now, this is important. The qualities that we associate with Aries: ambition, courage, risk-taking, independence, the willingness to feel the fear and do it anyway, being open to blazing a new trail, rising to the occasion, saying yes to going on a hero's journey, not knowing if you could succeed, knowing that there will be obstacles to overcome, but letting your inspiration and your passion pull you forward even more toward your soul's destiny. Often getting that feeling of, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I just know I have to do this. Why? Because you can feel your soul guiding you. For some of you, it's about breaking free so you can feel more empowered, more independent. And yes, in Aries energy, we want freedom. Freedom to go our own way. And you could even feel a very strong desire to put everything you got into something so that you can feel victorious, so that you can win that. So keep in mind that this is the energy we are all walking into with so many planets in Aries, which has not happened before in our lifetimes. 8 planets, including the dwarf planet Eris, the warrior goddess, all in Aries energy beginning April 14th. But it's already now heating up. And I want to share the timeline with you. But first we have to go back for a moment. Remember that on February 20th, 2026, Neptune and Saturn came together in Aries at the 0-degree point. We call this the world axis point. It is connected to global leaders. This conjunction of these two outer planets planted a seed. It activated the huge change that we are seeing now globally, collectively. And of course, we are very much feeling this. And in a sense, it sparked the creation of a brand new world. I share much more about this in my Saturn conjunct Neptune video. I will link that in the description box below. But also that spark of new possibility, that brand new world, it didn't just happen for us collectively, of course. It sparked this co-creation within each and every one of us. That seed was planted for you personally, my friend, with the intention of igniting your heart, sparking a brand new beginning, a soul's calling, or a rebirth, a renewal, with the goal of bringing you more alive and or making a new dream real. Something that's going to stretch you, something that will be a reach for you, something that is going to take you into new soul territory. Now, what's significant is that Mars and Mercury in Aries in April are activating this seed that we planted. They are activating this new fresh start, soul's calling, destiny. And this already happened with the sun in Aries, but now other personal planets are following suit. So here's the timeline of when and how this is playing out and what it means. Mars activated the 0 point of Aries when it entered the sign on April 9th. Mars is at home in the go-getting sign of Aries. It is a force to be reckoned with here. Very determined, a willingness to go the distance, unstoppable even. And on March 12th and 13th, Mars in Aries will make a conjunction to Neptune. And this is going to activate that dream, that vision, that strong drive, or whatever it is your heart most desires now. You could feel an increase in your motivation. You could feel an increase in your energy for sure, in your mojo. And just a feeling like, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to get into gear. And because Neptune is connected to our higher self, it's connected to the other realms where we co-create our dreams. Neptune is, in a sense, our visionary self. It's where we have that direct line to the divine. Because of this, you could feel like I'm receiving that guidance that I've been asking for. I'm finally feeling like I am at one with my own inner source of information, as if you were getting a phone call from God, or simply feeling in your body that you know the right next step to take. At the same time, Mars coming together with Neptune can reveal an illusion. It can show us if we've been too much in fantasy. It can bring about disappointment, a moment of taking off the proverbial rose-colored glasses. And Neptune is going to take any dream, goal, or vision that is not fully aligned with who we are, that is just fantasy, that isn't something that we would go the distance with, or maybe it's associated with a part of us that we've evolved past. Maybe we've outgrown that dream. And if that's the case, Neptune will dissolve it by burning through the illusion to show you the truth. So you can get on with your life. You can dream a new dream. And then on April 14th, Mercury is going to enter Aries. This is a wonderful shift of energy. Mercury has been in Pisces, watery emotional Pisces, where we've been feeling all the feels, as my daughters say. We've had to let go of old stories. We've released heavy emotions. We've been clearing the past. Mercury was in Pisces for almost 2.5 months because it was retrograde. And that was a tough retrograde. Raise your hand if you felt like that was a hard retrograde. I certainly felt that. If you have planets or points in the mutable signs, especially Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, that could have been a frustrating or annoying or heavy Mercury retrograde for you. Could have felt like you were swimming out in the middle of the ocean by yourself. Could have been confusing. Could have felt lost. But now Mercury's moving into the first sign of the zodiac, fresh starts, springtime, the fire lit in your belly, Aries. Mercury in Aries operates very differently than it does in Pisces. It's much faster moving, tends to be filled with enthusiasm and optimism for the future. Wonderful new momentum, excitement about what can we create. So new possibilities inspire downloads. With Mercury here, Mercury ruling our thoughts and our insights, you could definitely be sparked by something very positive that you hadn't considered before. We also want to remember that the lower octave of Mercury in Aries can be sudden outbursts, anger directed at others, and even bullying. So boundaries are going to be very, very important. Now, on April 16th, Mercury is going to take its turn meeting up with Neptune. Now we're talking about our dream or our vision or our fresh start or new direction. We're having conversations with other people, or we're getting more communication from the divine about what it is that is pulling our heart forward. Mercury also rules our plans, our movement. You could get more revved up and excited about traveling, about moving your home perhaps, or just doing something, getting into action for something that's really excites you. Mercury also rules buying and selling and transactions. So if you've been thinking about buying something or selling something, this could be a good time to do it. All planets are direct now. Keep in mind that Mercury in Aries is such a go-getter. It's very independent. It doesn't want to wait. So we're probably going to have to be more patient. We often want instant gratification in Aries energy. My theory on this is that in past lifetimes, if we were on Atlantis, for example, we were evolved enough that we could literally think a thought and it would come into creation. And so if you have strong Aries in your chart especially, you could have experienced a lifetime like that. And then coming onto this planet could be like, what happened? Why are things not happening for me faster? Why am I not manifesting more quickly? What I love about Mercury conjunct Neptune is it can really ignite our passion and our inspiration. So be open to those flashes of insight, my friend, or those things that really light you up. Write them down, talk about them with other people, make a vision board, take your thinking and your thoughts and apply them to what you most want. This is the beginning of all manifestation, right? On April 17th, we have the Aries new moon, which I have done a separate video for you on, including your 12 sign readings, letting you know where the Aries new moon is happening in your natal chart. So you definitely want to watch that if you haven't already. But on the Aries new moon, we are going to have 8 planets and luminaries in Aries. What's interesting is that Mars, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune, they're making one conjunction, one cluster of planets in the first decan, the first 10 degrees of Aries. Then we have another stellium of planets in Aries in the last 5 degrees of the sign. And so these degrees span such a wide stretch of degrees in Aries that a lot of us are going to feel this. And this other cluster of Aries that I'm talking about at the last degrees includes the new moon, includes the sun and the moon together, which make up the new moon. And the new moon will be conjunct Chiron, the planet of your greatest wound can become your greatest strength when you heal it. And Eris, sister of Mars, goddess of discord, warrior for justice. Eris represents divine discontent. She tirelessly rights wrongs. She has a deep inner strength, and she's not afraid to make things right or go after what she wants in her own rebellious way. And this energy is going to be infused into each and every one of us and the collective during this new moon. So our courage is going to be activated, our courage to look at anything within ourselves that we're ready to heal, but also our courage to stand up for ourselves, to stand up for our truth, and social activism comes to mind. Or maybe healing a layer of abandonment, betrayal, or shame that has lingered in your life for some time. This could be a turning point for you in your own healing, or a decision that you want to help others heal. And this is a good time too to be willing to have those hard conversations. Without holding back, Eris represents the fiercely protective divine feminine. And this is why I believe this Aries new moon is going to be the most intense new moon of 2026. Now on April 19th, Mars is going to make a conjunction to Saturn exactly. Mars and Saturn, traditionally known as the two malefics, meaning that in their lowest octave, they can bring very difficult challenges. But they have a higher expression too, like all the energies do. And if we're conscious of how we're using this energy, and if we can prepare ourselves, then we can finesse this transit with the most ease, peace, and grace. Mars in Aries, of course, moves quickly. It ignites our mojo and our drive, and this includes surges of adrenaline. With Mars and Aries, we can actually live off adrenaline. Not for long, though, because we will burn out. We will collapse on the couch. We are human after all. But think of Mars and Aries as poised at the starting gate and ready to run, ready to race, wanting to win. Everybody get out of my way. Exactly conjunct Saturn, which is such a different energy. Saturn represents rules, restrictions. Authority figures telling us no, somebody saying this is delayed, someone or something raining on your parade. I mean, I'll be honest, Saturn can be a killjoy. It can feel like it is putting up obstacles, like it's putting up roadblocks, or it can feel like a power struggle, either with parts of yourself wanting different things, or a power struggle with another person or people. Saturn's also connected to work, commitments, and responsibility. So it could just feel like you have a heavy workload, like way more than you expected. But also, it can give us the energy to power through something, the determination of both Mars and Saturn in Aries. That is, if we don't let it drain us, because it can really drain us, we have to keep fueling and refueling ourselves with whatever it is that renews our energy. Now consider this. Mars naturally rules Aries. Saturn, however, naturally rules Capricorn. Aries and Capricorn make what we call a square to one another, which brings about tension or a feeling of pressure or a discomfort that then moves us into action, because as humans, we don't want to feel discomfort. We won't feel it for very long. We will do something to break that tension, right? Now, it's true that Mars and Saturn are both in Aries, but because of this natural square between these signs that they rule, this will potentially intensify the dis-ease that we might feel even more. And I encourage all of us, including myself, to be aware of if there is an inner conflict going on, if there are two parts of ourselves that want different things. One part may be saying, yes, let's do our taxes. Another part saying, that's going to be too hard. That's too much. There are new tax laws. There are all these things that we have to go through before we can do it. We're way behind. Let's just file for an extension. You get the idea. But of course, that's just one example. Maybe it's a new dream or project that you are lit up by, that you're excited by, but you've got another part of you saying, do you know what's going to be involved with that? Or that's terrifying. I'm afraid that I'm not up for that. I don't know how to do that. That sounds really scary. It would be so natural, my friend, right now, if you are feeling some resistance, Saturn, some resistance to what a part of you either desires or knows is actually best for you to move into. Because Saturn will bring up fear. Saturn will bring up insecurities, self-doubt. And it can take a little bit of time for us to move through those. So we want to give ourselves that time, or open up to the fact that we're not going to do it perfectly the first time. We're going to mess up. It's going to be a hero's journey, twists and turns and obstacles and unknown situations that will come up as we get between here and our destination. Mars and Aries could say, let's just wing it. Let's just learn as we go. Some of us are comfortable with that approach and others of us aren't. So really, this is about you knowing you. What approach are you most comfortable with? And if you find yourself at an impasse, if you find yourself stuck, if you find yourself overwhelmed at any point, especially while we're having this conjunction, which will be exact from around the 19th, and within very close orb till about the 22nd, we could feel this for a full week up until the 25th of April. Especially during this time, one way to move through this energy more gracefully, more peacefully, is to just notice the approach that we're taking and ask, is there a different approach? Can I be more creative? Is there a workaround? Can I give myself more grace? Can I cut myself some slack? Because big picture, what I believe is going on with Mars conjunct Saturn is that we're becoming, as we evolve, we're becoming that much more aware of how we use our energy and how we approach work. And is it good for us? Do we take our time when we need to? Or are we striving, pushing, letting our ambition drain us? Are we doing things in our work, for example, or in our lives that we really don't want to be doing? And is our health suffering as a result? Health on any level, emotional, mental, or physical, spiritual even. These are things that I think we're going to become aware of during the second half of April. Now, I should also say that the most ego-based expression of Mars conjunct Saturn could be emotional triggers, either you or the other person, or we can see this play out with our world leaders. We already are. This one-upmanship, giving ultimatums to the other person, tug of wars, flying off the handle, trying to dominate other people, or finding yourself go into that fight, flight, or freeze response. It is very possible, given all of these energies, I probably don't even need to say this, that world leaders are very likely to escalate their power struggles. On the other hand, maybe we will be surprised. Maybe we'll be surprised and the ceasefire that was agreed to by the US and Iran, maybe that will continue past the 21st. Interesting that that date is right in the middle of this Mars-Saturn conjunction time, right? What is hopeful to me is that we have 2 sextiles to Pluto in Aquarius, and Aquarius energy is the collective, is what's best for everyone. Humanitarian values. We've got 2 sextiles to Pluto. Sextiles are harmonious aspects. Around the new moon time, Mars and Mercury sextiling Pluto could really help soften the edges of discord. And if anything is delayed or slowed down for you, my friend, sometimes it helps to remember that the positive of a Saturn delay is that it requires us to step back. It requires us to be more cautious, to responsibly assess a situation, to be accountable and help hold the others accountable. Saturn does rule boundaries after all. It encourages all parties involved to act more responsibly. Someone acting impetuously could be called out and held accountable for their actions. And because Saturn rules structure and a solid, sustainable foundation for a long-term, enduring goal or anchor in our lives, because of this, many of you, if you have in your natal chart planets or points in the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, you may be feeling challenged right now to rise to the occasion, to go out of your comfort zone, to do something very uncomfortable, again, bringing up fears, insecurities, self-doubt. Moving through discomfort to rebuild a structure in your life, or maybe there's a crack in the foundation of something, whether it is your work or it is something to do with your health or your home or a relationship. It can be anything, right? You could be restructuring how you use your energy or how you do your work to make it more sustainable long term. A lot of us are having to do this. And this could involve shifting a pattern or a dynamic or a habit. And that's not easy to do. But Mars conjunct Saturn is going to give us that drive, I believe. Even if we feel stalled, even if we get overwhelmed or we feel frustrated in the process, I think we know already where we need to make a change that is going to be foundational to our well-being. And Saturn will always reward focused, disciplined work. So if a task or a goal or a project is taking longer than you planned, maybe break it down into small chunks. Or if you feel stuck or drained, if you're in the middle of something, you just stall out, maybe sleep on it, come back to it in the morning. That's not easy for Mars and Aries to do. I remember when I was younger, maybe this was my college days. I don't remember exactly the timing, but I remember seeing there was a bumper sticker that was really big. You saw it on so many cars and it said, "Easy does it." Easy does it, a perfect mantra for this transit. But if we can remember that big picture, we are going through a transformation right now. Some of us are transforming how we work. Some of us are transforming how we deal with stress and our nervous systems. Aries rules the brain. It's connected to our adrenals. So our vitality is really in focus during this transit as well. We don't often recognize Saturn in its highest expression, but it is also the wise mentor. It encourages us to get advice from mentors, from other people who have done something that we want to do. And Saturn wants efficiency, so not to waste our time by reinventing the wheel if we don't have to. So who will most feel this conjunction between Mars and Saturn? They are exactly conjunct at 7, almost 8 degrees. So those of you who have planets or points in the first 13 degrees of Aries or the other cardinal signs, Libra, Capricorn, or Cancer, you are going to feel this most intensely. You could also feel the energies of this 8-planet pileup that I've been talking about in this video more personally and intensely if you have planets or points in the last 5 degrees of the cardinal signs because of the new moon in Aries happening at 27 degrees. So my final tips for navigating these very intense times, my friend, for your fulfillment, for your forward movement. Number one, use this time to receive guidance from your own spirit for the positive shift that you want to initiate, especially because this energy may very well ignite courage and confidence that you didn't even know was there. Number two, it is more than okay to focus on your needs, your desires, and what it is you are stepping into in terms of a new role or a new identity. This is the time for this. This is the time to be self-ish. I have rarely seen empaths, highly sensitive people who have big caring hearts like most of you have. I have rarely seen behavior that is self-ish in a negative way. Most of you want to do something that your soul is calling you forward to do so that you can contribute to the well-being of others, right? So toward this end, I really hope that you can give yourself the time, the focus, the investment in you to focus on your inspired passion. Or if you're not feeling passionate, to do the things that you can do to ignite that. And my book is really good for that, The Magic of Saying Yes. I always link that in the description box below. I give you lots of tools in that book for finding your passion. There are going to be a lot of distractions in these last 2 weeks of April. Distracted by the news, distracted by politics, world events, all of it. But if we can hold our vision and energize it for the highest octave of love, both for ourselves and for humanity, where intention goes, the positive energy will flow. And when I'm preparing for videos, I always pull cards just to ask the divine what will be coming through with this energy. And one of the cards was Moon Madness, Avoid Drama. So that tells us something, right? Lastly, number three, don't try to force anything. Think long-term strategic planning. Every hero's journey is an adventure into uncharted territory. You are meant to go beyond where you've gone before. Saturn slowing you down is simply a permission slip to be good to yourself and not to let other people drain your energy or take you down. You can take a stand for your life, my friend, and this is something that I've been working on for years now, and that is I will not allow anyone else's behavior to affect my emotional well-being. The nervous system can only take in so much quote-unquote noise, so much stimulation. So use Saturn as your boundary setter. Use Mars as your inspiration and passion. And maybe even see their conjunction as two parts of you that are now on the same page working together. So I want to do your 12 sign readings, but I want to close part one out with a prayer that could be really helpful during this intense April time. And that is the loving kindness prayer. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. Okay, my beautiful friend, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Let's talk about where you're going to be experiencing these intense energies in Aries in your natal astrology chart. Watch your rising sign. Your rising sign will tell you where in your chart you'll be feeling the energies, what themes will be relevant for you, and watch your sun and moon signs as well for additional themes and intuitive messages, including from the cards that I will be sharing with you. And we're going to start with Aries because beautiful Aries, this is your time. It is your season, but not only that, all of these planets, 8 planets and luminaries will be in your sign. And when I say 8, that includes the dwarf planet Eris, the goddess of justice, discord. She is the one that stands up for what is right and true. So her energy is in all of this as well. And of course, I go into how you can best work with these energies with the most ease and grace in part one of this video. And happy birthday to all of you beautiful Aries who have April birthdays. Aries, this 8-planet pileup in your sign is happening in your house of you, the house of you, your first house, your identity, the roles that you play, your vitality, how you feel in your body, how you manage your energy, This could affect any area of your life. It could affect you in your work. It could affect you in relationships. It could affect you in your home and family because the first house is an angle of your chart. And when you have a transit to the angle of your chart, your rising sign specifically, or any other planets or points that are in that sign, that can activate the other angles of your chart as well. So, what does this mean for you? It means that some of you, and all of this energy is about something new. Aries, that's you. You're well aware of this energy. It's like, what is the next new thing that I can do, right? You know about this, Aries. This is part of your signature of being. What is inspiring you? What would bring you more passion? What feels like your soul is pulling you toward it? That's really big picture what this is all about for you. And, I go into more details in part one of this video, but what I really wanted to focus on for all of you is the Saturn Mars conjunction, Mars conjunct Saturn, because that is going to be the transit that is most, Mars and Mercury are going to activate Neptune, as I talk about in part one. That's our dreams, that's our visions, that's us talking about it, that's us wanting to take action on it. But when Mars and Saturn come together, there is a tension or a pressure or a slowdown or a stop for some of you, or a feeling burdened, feeling like you're struggling with something or struggling with another person. And that's why I wanted to do this video for you. I wanted to share how you can best move through that struggle if you're feeling it, or that tension or pressure. And that's what I do, and with all the tips that I share with you in part one. So just know that you could feel like you are, kind of coming head to head with your own patterns of how you do move through difficult challenges, because it could feel like, I use the example in part one of doing your taxes, because a lot of people will be doing their taxes around this time. I know probably the vast majority of you have done them already, but something that is energy intensive, right? Or that requires a lot of focus. You could feel like you're coming up against a wall at some point. So Saturn can be quite heavy. Saturn can be, just feeling like there's just much more work involved with something than you thought there was, or you could feel like other people are expecting a lot of you during this time. You could feel like there's a lot of pressure from others. You could feel that something is shifting inside of you, something very important. And it could even make some of you feel lost or confused temporarily, very temporarily. Aries, you are such a warrior. You are such a go-getter. You are such, you have the most amazing determination, most of you. So I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried that you can't get through this. And some of you may, I have Mars and Aries, and I'm used to powering through stuff when I have to. But those of us with strong Aries in our chart, one of the lessons, one of the growing edges is to learn to be easier on ourselves and move through something in a more paced way, right? Rather than doing these short bursts, which can work, but sometimes these bursts of energy don't work when you have a Mars Saturn conjunction. They don't work anymore. And I think one of the things that this conjunction is showing us is where there are cracks in the foundation of how we use our energy. So that could come up for you. It's and I do think that breaking any kind of project or a goal or plan into small steps would really help. And just giving yourself more time there. It's easier said than done, I know. Or maybe you extend a deadline to something because you realize it's just not doable in the time that you thought it was doable. That could come up for some of you. But big picture, this is a new dream. It's a new trajectory. It's realizing our limits, setting boundaries, but not allowing that to dissuade us from what our heart is calling us forward to. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Aries. And I do have a separate video for you on the new moon in your sign, and a separate video for you on April astrology, where I go into a lot of other things that I didn't go into in this video. So this is an extra add-on. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Aries. Your card is You are in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. Wow. What a great card to get when I'm focusing on the Mars-Saturn conjunction. I love it so much. What a great mantra to have. I'm in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. I always find that because this is a winter image, I always find this interesting. There's magic in this image, but there's also a message I'm getting of you're coming out of winter. If you felt like you've been in a long, cold winter, is it hard for you, Aries? Leave me a comment. I'm curious about this. I am such a warm weather person, not just because I grew up in California, Southern California, but I think it's my Mars and Aries. It wants heat. It needs heat. Do you relate to that? I'm curious. I'm curious if there are Aries people with, people with strong Aries in their chart who love the cold. I'm very curious. Anyway, if you have felt like you've been in a metaphorical winter, you're coming out of that. But remember the magic. Remember your inner child. Remember let the synchronicities and the magical signs, let them in, let them come through, because there's something very childlike and joyful about this card. And it's time for you to say yes to your joy, beautiful Aries. So if you want to claim this, that you are in the flow, in the comments, let us know. I'd love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces. I really wanted to do this video to talk about this 8-planet pileup in Aries and the conjunction between Mars and Saturn that I think is going to give some of us a little bit of stress. I think it's not going to be an easy conjunction, Mars meeting up with Saturn. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out, of course. But where are you going to be feeling all of these intense Aries energies, which do spur you forward? They are asking you, what does your heart want? It is a time to reflect. It is a time to get clear on your heart's desire in this area of your life, which is your earned income and how you earn income. And are you happy with the amount of money that's coming in, but also how you take care of your heart, how you love yourself, the house of self-worth, deserving, self-esteem, and material security. Do you feel like your needs are being met? Are they in flux and flow? That would be very natural if they were. I mean, I think every video I talk to you guys about what you've been through, right? And what you've been through with Saturn and Neptune in your sign and the changes. And it's been an intense time for Pisces people. But now that the energy has moved on from your first house and the house of you, now you could be kind of putting everything that you learned during those hard times, putting those into action with really practical matters, because that's the second house. It's really practical, but it can also call you to go inward and give yourself some of that sweet nurturing, that radical self-compassion. And, Aries energy is next door to you. You guys are next door neighbors. You guys and gals are next door neighbors. So you learn from each other. Signs, side by side, signs, they learn from the other. And you're learning something from this experience of all these planets in Aries. It could be really igniting for you if that's what Aries energy does. It really lights you up. You could be learning a new skill. You could be going on an adventure that's going to increase your self-esteem. You could be learning how to do something that you're going to make money doing. That's a new skill, or you could be doing a new hobby even, but I'm thinking something that's you haven't done before, perhaps. That's Aries, the hero's journey. I've never done this before, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm inspired to do it. Or you could, if you've retired or you've done, you're independently wealthy, maybe this is about, doing something that just lights you up, that is also new for you, that feels like your soul calling you forward. So Pisces, let us see what the cards have to say for you. This is a really good transit to be focusing on your earned income, your self-esteem, and some of the tools that I often share in my videos, like radical self-love. I also have a video on inner child healing that might be helpful for you around this time. Tools like saying I love you in the mirror to yourself every morning, looking in your eyes, looking to your through your eyes to your soul. Those kinds of practices could be really good for April for you too. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Pisces. Intense time, Mars and Aries, lots of fire, lighting you up. And if you are doing your taxes, because you do have this energy in your second house of money, so you could be, pace yourself. Take, everyone's different with this stuff. I know that I tend to take on too much. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And maybe that's me. I don't know. Let's see. Pisces, for you. Your card is... Ooh, I love this card. Embracing enthusiasm. Shout to the heavens with happiness. There's something you're going to be shouting or wanting to shout to the heavens with happiness about. The other message I get with this card is that you have a new philosophy. You've learned and grown through what you've been through. And you want to share that with others, or you naturally share that with others when you're talking to your friends or when you're doing, whatever you do in your daily life. Some of you might want to start a podcast or be a speaker or be a leader for something. Your words will transform others, the butterflies. The butterflies coming out of her mouth that represent transformation. Shout to the heavens with happiness. There's something that you are going to be celebrating here very soon, beautiful Pisces. And if you want to claim it, claim your enthusiasm in the comments below. Let us know. I would love to hear. Aquarius. Hello, beautiful Aquarius. Aquarius, you are going to experience this 8-planet pileup in your third house of moving and shaking. The third house is the house of transactions and interactions with other people, where we go do the things that we do on a regular basis, where we do our errands, or where we work out at the gym, or going to yoga, or going to Zumba classes, whatever you do. Taking your walks in nature with a dog, maybe. Some people walk their cats these days. I've seen it. Whatever you do in your local area, this is where there's this ignited fire. So something wants to spark you if it hasn't already, Aquarius. Something wants to spark you with a new sense of aliveness. And you could feel this in your mindset, in your communication with others, in your conversations, your emails. You could feel this with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, landlords, mortgage brokers, the people that we, have to interact with to get our needs met. But also, again, it's a transactional house. So it involves websites, it involves freelance work, it involves everything local, it involves short trips, devices, vehicles. And of course, our thinking, our inner narrative, the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we tell others, the things that light you up that you're talking about. These are all third house matters. You get a harmonious sextile from the Aries energy to your energy, Aries fire to your air. So it's a spark-filled time for you. You could really feel your energy increase. You could feel like there's something that you want to try that you haven't tried before, that you haven't had the nerve to do. This Mars-Saturn conjunction that I speak about at length in part 1 of this video. I really wanted to focus on that in this video. That Mars coming together with Saturn. I talk about in part 1 all the ways you could be feeling, but it can be delays, it can be slowdowns, it can be insecurities coming up. Something might be really lighting your fire, like writing a blog, writing a book, teaching, learning. And you could be super excited about it, but also feel held back in some way by fears or insecurities or doubts. So that's something that we definitely want to move through if that's happening. Because if the fire is lit in your belly, Aquarius, it's lit for a reason. We want to pay attention to that Mars excitement and inspiration and passion, and not let Saturn can delay things, but Saturn can be showing you some sort of something that you need to see to move forward to. Listen to the wisdom of Saturn and go with the passion of Mars. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Aquarius. And if you do get a divine inspiration or download to go someplace that you haven't gone for a while, to take a trip, short trip you haven't done, to take a day trip or something, do it. Do it. Do it, Aquarius, because that's your divine guidance, okay? Or to buy a new car, or to buy a new device. I mean, these kinds of things could be coming up for you too, to start a website, to start a podcast. Okay, Aquarius. To take a course. I'm laughing at myself now. Okay. Your card is breaking trail. A breakthrough is at hand. Yes. Breakthroughs are mental, right? The third house is mental, mercurial. Breaking trail. There's something you haven't done before that's new for you. Maybe it's new for everyone you're going to be working with, Aquarius. You do have that divine genius. You are connected to the cosmic intelligence. You're connected to the field of all possibility, future focus, the cutting edge, the part of you that is willing to go out on a limb and break a new trail. Break a new trail. So if you want to claim this in the comments, let us know, beautiful Aquarius. I'd love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, the 8-planet pileup, the stellium, 2 stelliums of planets in Aries are happening for you in your 4th house of home, family, and your own inner child healing, ancestral healing, your roots, your sense of belonging, your need to feel at home and at peace in your sanctuary. So what does this bring up for you, Capricorn? Because when we have so many planets in fresh start, new beginnings, Aries, in the 4th house, which is a key point, we call the 1st, 7th, 10th, and 4th houses, we call them angles of your chart. They are angles. They are connected to your IC. The 4th house is your IC. That's the very beginning when you landed here, when you took your first breath. It's your nadir, the nadir of your chart. So it really is, like right now I'm seeing this is going to sound funny, but when a chicken breaks out of an eggshell, I'm seeing like a human breaking out of an eggshell and like stretching and stretching, reaching up and being like, there's the sun. What is that? Like it's bringing me to the question of, if you just landed here, if you just broke out of your eggshell, if you just came out of the womb and you didn't know anything, what would you desire? What would you be desiring if you didn't have a past? If you didn't have the weight or heaviness of a past or of goals and ambitions and all of that, which Capricorn, you're brilliant at achieving goals. You are. You're known as one of the most ambitious signs, and so is Aries. But I always trust the images I get. That's really interesting that all came up. And I feel that has to do with this birth. I think there's a rebirth for some of you. And maybe the ambitions that you had before you don't have anymore. That happens sometimes. Maybe you have a new ambition. Maybe you have a new something that is calling you to it. It could be career related for you, work related. It could be relationship related. It could be home related. But this is happening in your house of home and family. It could have to do with a family member or family members. It could have to do with healing a relationship with a family member or multiple people in your family, setting boundaries, perhaps taking space, walking away, because we have this Chiron Eris conjunction with the new moon. That's part of the 8 planets. And, Eris stands up for her truth. Eris will, there's a lot of anger inside of Eris from being mistreated. And then she becomes the warrior goddess and she goes after what she wants and she turns over the tables, so to speak, to right wrongs. So that could be going on inside of you too. But of course, this is about taking care of you, taking care of your heart, taking care of your need. We all have a core need to belong wherever we are. We all have a core need to have roots that we sink in deep enough that it makes us feel like we are security. So all of these planets in your 4th house, they are going to activate and ignite you this month, beautiful Capricorn. of course, and I talk about this in part one of the video, how the Mars-Saturn conjunction, Saturn is connected to you, to Capricorn energy. It rules Capricorn. You know, Mars is connected to Aries energy, but they square. So you're getting a square. You're getting a square from this Mars-Saturn conjunction. Mars-Saturn both in Aries, of course, but Saturn is associated with your energy. And so why I'm sharing this with you is that the square energy can feel like tension and pressure. It's a conjunction anyway between these two planets. I think most people are going to feel that tension and pressure, but you might feel it even more potentially, Capricorn, because it squares your energy. And that's going to get you motivated. That's going to get you into action. That's going to get you taking a step or steps to bring about whatever you need: security, stability, joy, passion in your home and family life. So whatever I've said that maybe pinged something for you, if it did, let us know in the comments if you want to share, and let's see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. Your card is Wondrous Universe, Walk in Beauty. You are the wizard. You are the alchemist. You are turning dross into gold. Know that you are the wizard. Know that you are the magician. Know that you have the ability to manifest what your heart most desires. And if you want to claim this, walking in your own beauty, walking in the beauty of the universe, walking in the magic and synchronicities and power of you as the wizard, as the magician, as the alchemist, beautiful Capricorn, we're in a wondrous universe and it is on your side. Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius, beautiful Sag. Wow, wow, wow. We're going to have 8 planets and luminaries, the 8-planet pileup in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, children, playfulness, joy, freedom, abundance, inner child delight. I love this so much for you, but we want to keep in mind that Mars is going to make that conjunction with Saturn that I talk about in part 1 of this video, and it will be intense, intense. Now, you are getting a trine from this Aries energy to your energy, so that is ease and flow. That is the wind at your back. That's the wind filling up your sails. That is, you know, my eyes are, as I say that, my eyes go right to the words freedom and comforts, freedom and comforts. It's unbridled free expression too. It's any kind of project or passion that you are doing, starting, putting out into the world. But Mars conjunct Saturn is very intense. So if you are interested in knowing how you can best work with Mars conjunct Saturn, watch part 1. That's where I go into it at length. And know that Saturn may delay you, Saturn might slow things down, but Mars in Aries is going to bring you that inspiration and passion. And this is all about finessing these energies, which I give you lots of tips for in part 1 of this video. So what do you want to create? What are you inspired to do? What lights you up when I say these words: love, romance, creativity, and children? What is being sparked for you? This could be happening, if it hasn't already, for you in the next over, you know, the last 2 weeks of April, but it could have started when Mars went into Aries. It could have started even before that. So that would have been the 9th of April. It could be anytime in April and even into early May. So let's see. I'll give you all the dates. I give you a full timeline in part 1. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Sag. What does your heart desire? Leave me a comment. I would love to hear. And some of you might want to start online dating. Some of you might want to start thinking about putting something out into the world, promoting or branding something, gathering your friends, gathering your supporters, starting something that you are, you know, it could be online related too, because the 11th house is across from your 5th house and they work together. Sag, let's see what the cards have to say for you. But the key word is joy. The key word is joy for you. And your card is, you're being called, answering the call. Answering the call, the time is now. What is it time for you? My book is called The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. So these are obviously very related, my book and this card. If you want more support, you might want to get my book, go to Amazon at least and read the reviews. Look through, this person is looking through a portal. This is a portal. She's running out, right? She's running out the door. Very Aries. She's feeling called and she's answering it. And as she goes through this portal, she becomes that much more alive to a part of her that is coming online. We all have a part of us that has been dormant, that is coming online with all these Aries planets, right? A garden inside of us is growing, and those seeds that we planted around the conjunction time in February of Neptune and Saturn, those seeds or seeds that we're planting during this Aries new moon, something is beginning to grow. If only enthusiasm, passion, or aliveness to start. The time is now, though. Beautiful Sag, the time is now. If you want to claim this in the comments, let us know. I'd love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, your rare 8-planet pileup in Aries is happening in your 6th house of your daily life, your work, your relationships to your coworkers, your relationships to how you do your life, your daily rhythm, routines and schedules, your health on all levels. And this, of course, includes your emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. Often when I'm doing client charts, when I'm doing sessions with clients, astrology readings, and I see transiting planets in the 6th house, somebody is working on change that is going on, or a new heart's desire that's going on in how they manage their life, or how they want to feel different in their life. It's very energetic. It's about our vitality. It's about our health, but oftentimes it has to do with, what am I just done with? What can I no longer do? What's sustainable? What's not sustainable? And it could have to do with a toxic work environment. It could have to do with an exciting new work environment. It could have to do with something that you want to do that nurtures you. It could have to do with, like where you work out, or the gym you go to, or the yoga studio, or dance classes, or just how you structure your life so that you do have time to take care of your physical body. You do have time to eat the way you want, or to cook. It could have to do with, like, do you cook your own meals? Do you get a lot of takeout? Do you get convenience kind of meals? You could be changing that too. But Aries ignites the fire in our belly. Aries says, let's go a new direction. Let's do something in a new way that we haven't done before. Also, your relationship with a pet or pets falls here. And if you are going through anything at work, whether it's like a change of leadership at work, for example, or maybe you're being promoted to a new role, then that will come through here as well. Scorpio, because you are ruled by Mars, and you're co-ruled by Mars and Pluto, of course, Pluto is very strong in your energy, but Mars is your co-ruler. And because Aries is ruled by Mars, there's a simpatico between you and Aries energy. It could ignite you that much more, but it could also emotionally trigger you or feel more intense for you because of this very strong Mars going through your 6th house. Very much connected to the physical body. I would be so surprised if there isn't something going on with your body, whether it could be a health thing, but it could just be, I want to get stronger. I'm going to start working out. I just got this image of someone building their own home gym. Maybe you're getting exercise equipment and you're bringing it into someplace in your home or garage or whatever. That could be it too. There's an intensity here. Let me know, Scorpio, what you're doing or what you're getting sparked to do. If you'd like to share, I love hearing from you, and let's see what the cards have to say for you. Scorpio. Your card is, your light is shining brightly and you are reaching your destination. Check it out. This looks to me home related, but it's not necessarily home related. But when I see that castle that's inside this portal, this always reminds me of a solar eclipse. inside, there's this castle, there's a dream, there are orbs here. It shows us the magic of, working with divine beings. And there's a trail and it's very luminescent. It's lit up with this purple energy. It's very divine. It reminds me of Neptune energy. Mars and Mercury are activating Neptune. A dream or a vision. What's your dream or vision? What is your destination? Scorpio, if you want to share, I'd love to hear what's your destination, because you are reaching it. You are reaching it, and in the process of reaching it, your light is shining brightly, a beautiful thing to affirm. Let us know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, the rare 8-planet pileup alignment in Aries is happening for you in your 7th house of relationships. This, of course, includes relationships with significant others, partners, romantic or business or best friendships, any partnership in your life that is very, very important. And when I say partnership, I mean spoken or unspoken agreements that I'll have your back, you have my back, the people that we count on, the people that we feel like would be there for us, especially if we really needed them. And maybe they're the people that you talk to regularly, see regularly, or live with. So we have this rare pileup of 8 planets. That's a lot in and of itself. You're going to be one of the most affected by this, Libra, because it's your opposite sign. And whenever we have planets opposing our energy, it means that we are feeling it through relationships. We're feeling it through our interactions. We're feeling it through our thinking about the other people, talking with other people, the plans that we make with others, the agreements that we have. Maybe it's going to bring you to renegotiating an agreement. There's an intention with every, transit of planets. There's an intention that we are meant to have, right? How do we want to use the energy? What is happening for you in your relationship life? Do you want this is Aries energy after all, and Aries is about new beginnings and fresh starts and new directions. We're all going into new soul territory, most of us. So your soul has evolved and is taking you into a new territory that has to do with the kind of relationships that you want, the level of evolution, the dynamics, the patterns, the love, hopefully unconditional love, although we are humans, so we're not always so good at unconditional love, but learning how to work and live and love each other in ways that are harmonious. And Libra, you need harmony, you need joy, you need balance, you need fairness. So that brings in boundaries, and boundaries are a big part of this April energy. I shared one of my tips in part 1. I share about, and I hope that you will watch that part 1 because there's so much. It's so packed with tips for you and ways to work with the energy, but about taking a stand for not allowing anyone else's behavior, words, anything else to affect your emotional well-being. So that's maybe one that you want to practice, because it is a practice. It's not an easy one because we are emotionally triggered. We are, and we don't think about it. It's subconscious and it just happens. But then we can step back, right? Then we can step back and say, oh, I have taken a stand. Why am I still thinking about this? Why am I letting this person take up my energy? Why am I letting them, as we say, take up real estate in my head, right? So I know you're all different in terms of relationships and whether you are in a partnership or not and what kind of partnership and all of that. You're all very different with that. But this also includes your partnership with the divine, your partnership with yourself, your partnership with your inner child. So this is really about love. This is really about love and meeting your core needs for connection. That's really what the 7th house is about. And that Saturn-Mars conjunction in your 7th house means you could have an intense time with another person or with 2 parts of yourself during this April period. I speak in part 1 about all the tips that I give you for working through that. Honest conversations, boundaries, maybe getting counseling if you need it, or maybe you're working through something with 2 different parts of yourself, giving them both a voice. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Libra, for your intense, fiery Aries time in April. Libra, Your card is Impasse. Reflect and redirect your energy. So when I see this, I immediately thought of something with another person. I mean, it just makes sense, right? An impasse often has to do with two people not on the same page. And because of the Mars Saturn conjunction, you could definitely be feeling that. But what does it say? Redirect, reflect, and redirect your energy. It's a temporary delay, Saturn making this conjunction to Mars. It's temporary. It's not going to last forever. And know that you are still on your way. And also, what I love about this, toward what your heart most wants, and what I love about this card is that it's a squirrel, and the squirrel can just go right up and over the wall. You can just scurry right up and over the wall. So there's a workaround. Maybe you are getting some advice from a mentor. Maybe you're talking to someone, you're talking it through with another person that's a neutral third party. That can really help. So beautiful Libra, if anything that I shared resonates for you and you want to share in the comments, I would absolutely love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, your rare 8-planet pileup of energies in Aries is going to be happening in your 8th house of transformation, the house of emotional attachments, death and rebirth, the things that we depend on, the things that we really want. We don't want them to go away. We don't want them to change if they're wonderful things, because the 8th house is where we get our needs met for long-term security. It's our financial wellness, often investments. It can be real estate. It can be the home that you live in. It can be anything that anchors you financially in this world and that makes you feel secure. But also it can be like paying off a loan or getting a loan or a business partnership or an emotional or sexual partnership. So these are the things that can really trigger us emotionally, but they can also, really light us up when they're going well, right? When we have really positive energy going through the 8th house, it can really boost our energy. So Mars will conjunct Saturn here, and it brings to mind power struggles. It brings to mind standoffs with people. It doesn't have to be that. It can be your own intense drive to move through something, and yet Saturn slows that down. Saturn brings a delay, or Saturn brings up an obstacle, or Saturn simply slows it down. I know I'm using this example a lot, but it fits in the 8th house very much, and that could be doing your taxes, because the 8th house is also where we are doing something that is in relationship, so to speak, with a bank or a corporation or a government in this case with taxes. But anything could be happening here in terms of, like, you could be wanting to pay off a loan, or you could be working on your investments. If you have investments, you could be wanting to sell a house or buy a house. So we just want to keep in mind with Mars conjunct Saturn that there could be an intense drive to get something moving and to make progress, and yet Saturn could slow that down in some way. And in part 1 of this video, I gave you lots of tips and tools to move through any challenges with Mars conjunct Saturn with the most ease, peace, and grace. So beautiful Virgo, what is it for you? What does this 8th house bring up for you? For some of you, you could be dividing assets. You could be splitting apart in a partnership. And that can involve, obviously, your stuff, right? Sharing stuff and splitting stuff up, renegotiating, negotiating that, working with a lawyer, all of that is possible as well. Let us see what the cards have to say. What I love about so much Aries energy is that it sparks your aliveness. Even if it's difficult, it's going to bring you more alive if that's what's needed. It's going to wake you up to what your heart really needs and wants right now. And that's always a good thing. So let's see what the cards have for you, Virgo. Your card is Ascending the Mountain, Keep Going Forward. I love it. You could feel like, oh my gosh, another mountain. You could feel like I'm partway up, but I'm not all the way there. This is such a simple message. It's saying you're ascending. It's not just ascending in a physical task or a goal. It could be ascending spiritually for you. It's happening. You're doing it. Just keep going forward. Don't look back. Let go of the past. There is no going back in the eighth house. It's very Plutonic, the eighth house. No going back. A lot of changes that have already happened are probably permanent, and you are on your way to bigger and better things, onward and upward. Beautiful Virgo, if you want to claim this in the comments, let us know. I'd love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are going to experience your rare 8-planet pileup, the alignment of so many planets in Aries in your 9th house of new horizons, new adventures. I love this for you. You get a trine from this energy. It is the Aries fire to your fire. It is very igniting. Are you feeling ignited now? Are you excited about something new, a new adventure? The 9th house is a lot of things, but it includes, and big picture, it's about new scenery. Big picture, it's about awakening. It's about seeing something with new eyes, seeing your life, seeing yourself with new eyes, new adventures, long distance travel, reading or teaching or talking about, sharing your wisdom about things that really light you up, that really, again, see where you're seeing from a new perspective. That's why I say awakening, because when we see with a new perspective, we're seeing with new eyes. I get this image right now of someone in a bookstore, and it's taking me back to a time in my own life when I had just gone through a major spiritual awakening, and then I was reading everything I could possibly read. And quite honestly, I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. I did not have a budget for buying a whole bunch of books, and you can only get so many books in the library. So I would camp out in the bookstore at times. I would camp out in the bookstore, and I would just read book after book after book. Or after I got my kids to bed, I would go to the bookstore and I would just peruse, because that was the environment in which, think of all the books and the energy of these books and the ascension that you can get from being, words are energy, right? The ascension, I never thought of it this way before until this moment. The words that come off of those pages have an energetic frequency, vibration. So no wonder I was drawn to being in this bookstore with all of these cutting edge concepts, ideas, experiences in these books that were lifting my vibration. That is so cool. I love thinking of it that way. You could be experiencing something like that too. You could be going to a spiritual retreat or taking courses or teaching or publishing something or wanting to do that, wanting to do a podcast or a broadcast, or again, sharing your philosophy. This is also the house of justice and government. So if you work for the government or you work for a university, you work for an entity that is run by or funded by the government, something to do with that could come into play here, like getting a new job, for example. I've had a lot of jobs for the government or for universities. I've worked at a couple of different universities, and that's very 9th house. So if you are going through any sort of lawsuit or trying to get a visa or trying to get something through a government agency, get a yes or an okay or permission or something that you need, because this Aries energy trines your energy, you are likely to get a yes. But don't be surprised if there's a slowdown in there somewhere, especially in April with that Mars Saturn conjunction. It's not going to last forever, but it's going to have us pause and assess and get really clear on whether what we're pursuing is something that we truly, truly want. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Leo. Leo, your card is the wandering path, enjoy the journey. I love this because, 9th house adventures, they really are journeys in and of themselves. And if you feel like you're wandering, if you don't know what's next for you, maybe it would make sense for you to go somewhere, go on some trip, or, do something that feels like wandering to you. Get your compass out, get your map out. Something that's going to feel free. I just get this strong feeling of you need to feel free, Leo. You need to feel like you are giving yourself time and space to feel free, some open time and space to let yourself wander. It's okay to wander. Sometimes that's the only way we get connected to our inspiration and passion. Enjoy the journey. If you want to claim this in the comments, let us know. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I am part of your soul Cancer family because I have my rising moon in Cancer. And this rare 8-planet pileup is happening in Aries in our 10th house of career. Now, the 10th house is not just career, it's also life purpose expressed, it's passion, it's however you spend your time if you don't have a career. It can be a vocation, it can be turning a hobby into a career, or it could be retiring or semi-retiring and then asking, how do I want to spend my time now? But with Saturn making this conjunction to Mars and Saturn meeting up, Mars is conjuncting Saturn. With this happening, this is very uncomfortable. You're rising to the occasion, Cancer. You're rising to the occasion. There is something that has to do with how you express yourself, what you express, how you make money, some of you, or how you take leadership. This is also the house of recognition, reputation. So you could be thinking about how you're going to level up, and insecurities, fears, and doubts could come up. And that would be very natural, very natural. You could be learning a new skill. You could be tasked to really stretch yourself. But if you see yourself as a leader, if you see yourself as a way shower, if you go back to your why, and I'm talking to myself here too, this is the time that we need to go back to our why. Why am I doing this? Whatever it is that you're doing, why am I doing it? What is important about this? Why do I feel that this is worth going through a struggle, or it's worth going through an internal shift, an internal healing perhaps of a part of you that doesn't feel completely secure to say yes to it? If you can get reconnected to that why, it will be easier to motivate yourself to go through these things rather than procrastinate. Because I can tell you, I think this is an energy where we could throw in the towel, at least temporarily. We could procrastinate. We could say, this just feels like it's requiring more than I have right now. And if we reconnect with what our true reason for doing the thing is, that might really fill us with new inspiration and passion and a readiness to move through that whatever stuck energy is that could happen during this Mars-Saturn conjunction. Trust yourself, trust your path and your process, even if you don't feel quite ready yet. I know it's easier said than done. I'm talking to myself too, beautiful Cancer. Let us see what the cards have to say, and if you want to share how this applies to you in your life, because it's happening with all Cancers. I mean, some of you might be so courageous and confident right now that you don't feel like it's going to be so hard. I think it will help to write down all the steps involved. I think it will help to break it down into small chunks, whatever it is for you, and write down the steps and take it one tiny step at a time, one baby step at a time, as we say. Cancer, let's see what your card is. Your card is Valiant Courage. Yes, there's courage here for sure. Take action with passion. What I love about this card, so you want to see yourself as victorious. You want to see before you even start something, right? We can visualize in our mind we're victorious. This is so Aries. This is so Aries. You're riding the horse. I just dropped the other cards. That's okay. You're riding with passion. You've got your staff up in the air. You are celebrating. You're celebrating. It's going to take courage for a lot of us to get there. It's going to take the courage, but courage comes from the word cur, which is the heart. And that goes back to what I was saying about your heart. Why does your heart want it? Let your heart speak to you. Your heart knows the way, beautiful Cancer. Claim your courage in the comments if you'd like. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini, and you are going to experience this rare planetary alignment. 8 planets in Aries in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, friendships, supporters, allies, branding, promoting, putting your message or your work out into the world, your joy, your passion project, putting it out into the world. This is really beautiful. It's also online dating. The 11th house is also connected to long-term financial gains. It's where we are ending a cycle and we're about to begin a whole new cycle. The World card in the tarot, the world is your oyster. So all these planets in Aries in your 11th house are saying, the world is your oyster. Gem, the world is your oyster. What do you want to say yes to? What's calling you forward? What is lighting your fire? Come on, baby, light my fire. I mean, this is what it is. Come on, baby, light my fire. Maybe it is new romance for some of you, but we can light our fire creatively too, right? Aries energy and Gemini energy really spark each other. It's the fire to your air, Gem. So we want to take advantage of this with our Gemini planets or planet. You want to take advantage of this. Notice what comes to you. Write it down. Most Geminis have strong writing skills. They have strong ability to download. You know, you're a mercurial sign. You download messages from the divine. You are the winged messenger. So write down what comes to you. My experience as a Gemini sun, and I also have Mercury and Venus in Gemini, is that when I get inspired by Aries energy, that's it. Like, then I take off. Then I once that fire is lit, once that inspiration happens, it propels me forward. And so this is what we can all of us Geminis can experience that during this time. And also the 11th house could be new community, new friends, new tribe. Do you feel supported? Do you need new friends? Do you feel like you know, a lot of us are in a new cycle. We're in a new timeline, so to speak. We have evolved past maybe some of the friendships that we had before. You could have gone through a drought with friendships. You could have felt like I have distance with people that I used to be close to, and now I'm really looking for new friends. That could be the case for you too. Mars and Saturn will make their conjunction here. If there's an intensity, if there's a slowdown, if there's a delay, if there's a challenge that you have to move through, that would be very natural. Watch part 1 of this video if you want more on that conjunction and how to move through it. I give you lots of tips, lots of scenarios. Let us see what the cards have to say for you, Gemini. Gem. Your card is the Mystic Healer. Healing energy flows through you. Whenever I see this card, to me, it is a call to step into your identity as a healer. If you're not already identified with this and you want to be, if you want to do a spiritually based business, for example, if you want to put yourself out into the world through promoting and branding the 11th house as a healer, or as someone who does healing work, of course, everything in which you are sharing your unconditionally loving heart with others is healing work. But if you want to do it in a way that feels mystical, the mystic healer, such as tarot readings or expressive arts therapy, or anything that you do that helps people heal or transform, this card is saying you are ready for it. You are ready for it. Healing energy flows through you and to others. I love this card so much. If you want to claim that you are a mystic healer in the comments, beautiful Gem, let us know. I would love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus. This is a mystical journey for you. All of these planets, a rare 8-planet pileup in your 12th house. Wow, wow, wow. I feel like you must be on a healing journey. You must be, Taurus. Why? Because Chiron has been going through this house. Chiron and Eris coupled up, and then we've got the Aries new moon that are going to activate that Chiron-Eris conjunction, and that's about healing. That's about you standing up for yourself and moving forward with gusto and with strength and being, embodying this goddess energy of Eris, which is being rebellious to the degree that is necessary for you to stand in your truth, stand in the light of truth, and right wrongs, whatever that means for you. You know, maybe it's wrongs in your own life. Maybe you've been going through a healing process, a forgiveness process. Maybe you've had to forgive others. Maybe you've had to let people go. Maybe you have had to cut ties, cut cords with people. I would be so surprised if right now you are not having intense dreams or you're not receiving messages through your dreams. When Mercury moves into Aries, I feel like you are definitely going to be getting messages through your dreams. My dreams have been pretty intense lately. I don't have this pile up of planets in my 12th house, but my dreams have been really vivid and intense. And I'm wondering if you have been having similar dreams with so much energy in your 12th house. The 12th house is the other realms, it's the ethereal world, it's not of this world. We've got one with so much going on in your 12th house. You've got one foot in this earthly world, you've got one foot in the ethereal world, and of course the ethereal, I said the word true, the ethereal realms are just as true, obviously, if not more, right? We say this is a dream living on this planet. It's a dream that we're going to wake up from and we're going to be on the other side. I can't wait to experience what that's like because, you know, I'm curious. I'm curious as an earthling what that is like to have that happen, and if it's all the things that we say it is. We won't really know till we're there, right? But the 12th house also connects to our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind can be a bad neighborhood. So you could be reprogramming the subconscious mind. You could feel forced to. That Mars-Saturn conjunction, you could feel forced to reprogram your mind, forced to change your story, pushed to the brink, so to speak, by your own mind even, you know, your own inner narrative that is, if it's negative, if it's not holding you in the light that you deserve to be held in. Most of us have really difficult past life experiences or childhood experiences that can take us to a dark place. I feel like there's a lot of healing that's going on for you with all these planets in Aries in your 12th house. And that's really, really beautiful. And some of you are ready to start a spiritually based business. Some of you are ready to take your vibration to the next level, or that's already happened. So you could be having, with all these planets here, really awakening experiences, astral travel, the veil being very thin between the worlds for you, getting insights, divine downloads, getting synchronicities and magical moments, channeling, noticing your psychic powers really increasing. You could be doing automatic writing or something else where you are channeling divine wisdom and guidance. And you could also be moving through insecurities, self-doubt, especially with Mars Saturn. Saturn can bring up self-doubt, insecurities, fears. This is a good time to move through that, all of that. And give yourself breaks, pace yourself, give yourself time to channel the unconditional love of the divine, to receive divine joy and love. And if you would like facilitation, help with that, download my free meditation where I connect you to your guides. Get that by going to my website and subscribing to my weekly updates, which are informative articles for you. Get those weekly updates and you will get my free instant download gift, which is that soothing guided meditation at the same time. Beautiful Taurus, let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for you, Taurus. Your card is Great Adventure. You know, the 12th house is also foreign lands. Do some of you, I shouldn't say some of you, do you, beautiful Taurus watching this, do you want to live in another place? Do you want to go to a foreign land? You could be really sparked by that kind of adventure too. It says, take a risk and venture forward. Take a risk and venture forward. And you can see how cool this boat is, the dragon likeness, right? Time to hoist your sails, Taurus. The divine is urging you on. If you want to claim your great adventure, leave a comment and let us know. I would love to hear. Beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this video on the 8-planet pileup in Aries, the Mars-Saturn conjunction. Thank you for liking this video, for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing with other people you know who love astrology, for hyping this video, and for subscribing. Your subscribes make a huge difference. When you subscribe, you trigger the algorithm to share this video with others, and it really helps support the channel. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like to do an astrology consultation with me, go to my website, check out my offerings. We could do a clarity coaching session. We could do an astrology consultation, heart's desire, life purpose, natal chart, relationship harmony, a 90-minute astrology consultation for those of you who want more time to talk about something or some things that are going on in your life that you would really like guidance on. Go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me, and you should get a sense of whether it feels like a yes for you. And it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. I have a free gift for you. If you'd like to receive my free guided meditation, it is a soothing journey that I guide you on to connect you to the unconditional love of the divine, to receive a gift from one of your guides. If you would like to have this meditation that you can play anytime, download it to your device, go to my website, sign up for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get my free instant download gift meditation immediately. My beautiful friend, let me know how you are feeling about so many planets lining up in Aries. I would love to hear, and until my next video, I am sending you all my love.